Devils United, another preview for Manchester United, and we're up against West Ham. Our first away game of the season. Got Andy, and we got a return back of Chloe. Chloe back after a holiday. Chloe, how are you?
I'm good. It's good to be back. Thanks for having me on again, Maisy.
Not a problem, and I'm loving the shirt. I've been saying this for ages. I love that shirt. Like, I absolutely love it. Where everyone hated it, I loved it.
To be honest, I think it's Chloe's side hustle, because by her wearing it, I'm more and more tempted to buy it. So maybe she's on commission. I don't know.
We've got a return back of Andy. Andy, how are you?
I'm good. Ready to travel 4 hours apparently to get to East London on Sunday. Should be interested. Better bloody win. Listening, Mark. Did well on Saturday though, mate. Appreciate it. 1 down. How many left to go?
Oh yeah, that's very true. I'll say hello to people who's in the chat as well. I just want to say, people who's already in the chat, thank you so much for all the support. I have got monetized now, so couldn't do it without the brilliant guests such as Andy and Chloe, without all your support in the chat, supporting the channel. So thank you all. You've all done your bit to grow this channel, so thank you all so much. Good evening, Henry. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. Good evening to Ravi. I hope you are well. Good evening, I like coffee. Hope you are well. Toon. Just remove that black and white, and then we'll go toony, and then we'll put a red on it. But good to see you. Good evening, Marcus, Tooney, and Leslie Russo. Love it. Absolutely love it. I'll get to your question in just a moment for you as well, Ravi. Great win for United and Liverpool. It sure was. Marcus, Aston Villa doing the Lord's work. Yeah, they're doing fantastic at the moment. Hello there, Luca. Hope you well. Thanks for coming in. Marcus said the third kit is growing on him, and Ravi said you're looking fresh in the green. So let's talk about the game. We've got West Ham coming up, and we'll fit it in with Ravi's question as well about the performance. Were we happy about it? And I'll go with you, Andy, on how you thought the team played. Could we easily get 3 points if we played like that against West Ham?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great occasion for a start. It was brilliant to be back, and great to be face to face again with Chloe, yourself, and other close mates. It was brilliant to be in the stands ready again, and it was great. I think the funny thing about the performance on Saturday is that it got better as you saw as the rest of the weekend went on. When you saw the way City played, when you saw the way Chelsea played, when you saw the way Liverpool played, even some people like Spurs and other teams. I mean, we were very dominant. Obviously, the big win to us is Maya Letitia, or Maya, even. I'll get her name right. I can do the Letitia bit, which you assume will be the most difficult bit. But the first, I think she was Maya, Mia, for about 7 different attempts on Saturday. Fantastic debut, 2 goals. And I only found out until I watched the interview that was released yesterday or this morning, that her dad, who still lives in Guernsey, flew over and surprised her for the game. Oh. So she was, so he was there basically, and not only for her debut, but obviously for her to score 2. And let's not forget, everybody, she's a defender, and we're talking like she's a striker, But I think generally, obviously, we'll get into more details. But my first thoughts on the game was we were dominant, we were comfortable. I know some people later have gone about, well, it was only 4-0 at half time. We should have got more second half, maybe. But we're all sort of practicing a little bit on rotation, who's coming on for what and where. And I think we did really, really well. And it looks a good start for the season, really.
Yeah, I definitely do think we could have. There was a couple of chances for me where I think we could have got it in. But under the same breath, we've got several new players now. It's about adapting the players. And it's about Matt Skinner again to find his best 11. He's already got some good players in that team already. There isn't too much what he could change on upon last season. But there's still of who starts. Garcia, Leon, Paris. Who's going to be in the centre-back? Letitia, Mannion, Tunkara. Is May Letitia going to move to a fullback position? There's loads of different questions, and it's about what ingredients are right for Matt Skinner and what's best for the team.
I don't think it started 11 now. I'd be interested in Chloe. I think that the thing that, and Chloe's you on this, I think Mark Skinner needs to understand, especially in the new league, it's now his 16. It's his 11 plus his 5 substitutes, because we went to 5 again, didn't we? I think one of the first times we actually used all 5 substitutes this weekend. I don't know if that was deliberate or
And
not.
we done it at a decent time for me as well, because it gave enough time for Vildebo Risa to have a couple of minutes, and Leon, I think she was the first substitute. She had plenty of minutes as well, and Martha Thomas got a few minutes as well, and Nikita Paris came on for the last 10 minutes. So it was quite good, but and that's what we needed, because we all said, where's your substitutes, Matt Skinner? But Chloe, tell me what you thought about that performance. Easy 3 points if we play like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think the way we played was good. We were clinical at times. And I think as well, in the box, our set pieces, they've got better. Because we have got Maya in the box now. We've got another tall person in the box alongside Millie Turner and others, because having tall people gives us that advantage of the heading into the area and heading into net, for example, as well. So for me, I think we've grown in depth. We've got a lot more players who can play elsewhere and who aren't afraid to get up and have that opportunity to score. And for me, Maya, she was one of the outstanding players during the weekend. She deserved to have the full 90. And if she carries on playing like that, it won't be long until she's in the England squad for me.
Oh, yeah.
She deserves, if she's called up in the October to play USA, or even just to have that experience in the senior level, she's deserved it. So for me, it's that stepping stone for other players getting into the senior squads and getting that first look again. So for me, it was good. And like you both said, the use of the substitutions were good. They were used at a decent time. It weren't left to last minute, like to the 80th minute, 85th, 89th minute. So he's learning. He is learning when to use it. And also he's learning to use all 5 and not just 2 or 3. Because I think last season when we were only using 2 or 3 players to come on, you would be able to see you're seeing more players getting tired quicker, and that was where the fatigue was coming in at like the last minute of the game. Like our strengths were like, if you use all your 5 substitutions, you can rest them and get them ready for the next game. But you're using only 3 and 2 players, or at least one player is fatigued, and that could lose you the game in defence, for example. So using all 5...
Sorry to interrupt, Chloe, but in your opinion, in terms of Matt Skinner with his substitutes, do you think that he tends to use them when he uses the substitutes when he feels comfortable, and when we're losing, he doesn't really tend to use them? Because that's what I've noticed with Matt Skinner.
Yeah, I think it's going to be seen how it's going to be used in the next couple of games, because we're 4-0 up and he used all 5. So if we say 1-0, 2-0 up against West Ham, or we're drawing 0-0 after half time, it'll be interesting to see how he uses his subs then. So yeah, it's going to be one of them where, is he going to use all 5 because we're drawing and bringing on the different aspects of the game, different players to try and score in the net, or is he not going to use the 5 subs because we've not progressed, we're drawing, or we're only 1-0 up, we're not safe? So for me, it's going to be whether or not it's how he sees the game as well. So I think the subs have to be clinical. They have to be when it's needed, not when Mark needs it. But obviously we can't we would want a shout down to Mark and go, Mark, you need to do your subs now, but we can't, and we all get frustrated. We know when last season we got frustrated when he was bringing Ivana on in the 85th minute when she was 5th. So it's one of them. So hopefully he's learned his lesson and we use the substitutions even when we are 0-0 or 1 or 2-0 up.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great point. I think also that I find interesting that he did do all 5. I can't remember when the 5th substitution was, but there was still a little bit of the game.
It was Nikita Paris. What was the last substitution? And it was like the last 10 minutes.
Because you run the risk of an injury, you got nobody to sub on. So I think the fact that he chose 5 rather than 4, I'm hoping, and this might be me wanting to see what I want to see, that is like a tactical change, as Chloe was saying. He's now going to see the subs as game changers.
I think it will really show for me on the games where we're drawing or losing is the big test of Matt Skinner, because
and it's possible.
You look at Leicester. Do you know the Leicester game where we won 5-0? He used his substitutions on time when he should be using them, but we didn't see them.
Yeah, 100%.
In the Chelsea game as quick. We didn't see him as fast in the Arsenal game where we should have been 2-0 up, but we was only 1-0 up, and then we drew.
We might touch on it in a bit, but I did notice, like I said offline to a few people, that we've actually got a relatively nice run in for once. We only play another member of the top 4 in November. That's the first time we play a Chelsea, City, or an Arsenal. So we've got
Chelsea.
So we've got for once we've got a run in, and we haven't got a February from hell like we had last year. If you remember, there was that month where every single week we were playing a top team. So we've got some good for Skinner to start building on, and as I think Chloe mentioned in previous shows, for Mannion to come back hopefully in October. Hopefully it'll be good to build on.
Mm-hmm, definitely. I just want to say thank you so much, Henry, for the first super chat of the channel. £5. I really, really appreciate the donation. That means we're only 3 billion and whatever, and so many pounds towards buying Man United. I'm only kidding. But Henry said, I think Man United will win this game. We will be too strong for West Ham. And I agree. West Ham's lost some key players there. Leon, who's come to us, they've lost their best midfielder to Manchester City on deadline day. So they wasn't even able to replace her. I can't remember her name. Do you know her name, Chloe?
On the spot there, Maisy.
I thought you might have knew more.
You know what you do. You know everything, Chloe. You know that. You're the one who actually knows stuff. You just make noise.
I can't remember.
You just make noise and giggle on camera. You're the one with the brains.
I know it begins with H, but
yeah, because she was like one of them hidden gems from Asia.
Saka.
Oh, God, no. I don't have a clue.
Think.
But yeah, thank you so much, Henry. It means a lot. Henry also said, I saw the West Ham series on TV. Yeah, let me know about that. I'll give it a watch. I only know Russo and 2 from internationals for England. They was definitely 2 of the standout players. Ravi, question, do you think this United side can unlock more from their locker? 100%. It's only the first game of the season. We was very comfortable, so there's no reason why we couldn't unlock more from the locker. Do you agree, Andy?
Yeah, no, completely. I've just got a name because I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation. So you have a go, Chloe. This is the person we're talking about. I've just found the answer.
Asaguano.
Yeah, exactly. Love the mank bit at the end, Guana. Yui Hasegawa, 25-year-old, apparently. That was the one that they signed.
Yeah. I like coffee. Channel monetize. Here comes the money. Thank you.
Because I was just finding that. Just repeat your question, Maisy. I'm happy to answer it. What was you saying about
unlocking? Can United unlock more from their locker?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think this is the thing about it. It's only one game, and that obviously we can't get carried away on that. But we've got a lot more depth and a lot more experience in our squad. And West Ham in the past has been a bit dodgy last season, but the times we played them middle of January when it was like basically biblically flooding, and then later on in the season, I think at least Sports Village we also struggled as well. So they can be a bit like any team, can be a bit of a bogey team. But I think, if you take the fact that Leon will want to really probably show West Ham what they're missing, as well. And obviously now we are a busier team. If you are on the periphery, you want to get onto the squad. You need to prove to Skinner, you have to put me in. You have to put me in. If you're really, but if you're, and conversely, if you started on Saturday, then you need to prove to Skinner why he should keep you there as well. And especially when it comes to who's going to partner Zalem, because I think Haley Ladd did well, but obviously Jade Moore can also do the role. And
I actually think Jade Moore played very well coming off the bench, and she was that different kind of defensive midfielder, which Haley Ladd, she's one of them where she will put a harsh tackle in if she wants, like, if needed. Like, we've seen it in the game where she put that harsh tackle in, and like that was one for the team, and that was great. And I think that was in the second half.
Yeah.
But with Jade Moore, I think she offers a bit more of a creative defensive midfielder. I've seen her a bit more going forward, and I actually was pretty impressed with her when I seen them a couple of minutes. When she had a few minutes under her belt, if she carried on the way she played, she could even compete with Haley Ladd, to be honest.
I think she probably can, and to be honest, I've been critical of her, but
I have as well.
Well, partly because I've kind of used her as partly because I've used her as a proxy to Skinner, because it's sort of, things I didn't like about him. I didn't know much about her, so we kind of sort of looked at that. And I do think he's over-egged her when he came in January, but she has the opportunity to tell people she looks the kind of player who will enjoy actually that kind of almost negativity. She wants to prove people wrong. And should do it with a smile and sort of the kind of, you don't see it as often in the women's game. I mean, the last time I really saw it was Leicester when they scored one and we beat them by 9. But the whole, when a player scores and they go to the other side of the pitch and they sort of do that, I always imagine that's kind of what Jade might do if she has a balling game in her head, at least, to a lot of people. And I think there's a possibility there. But I mean, obviously, as I say, because we've got such a smooth run in, if we do well against West Ham, the Conde will be an interesting one because it will disjoint us a bit against Villa, then the international break, then Brighton, then Leicester. We've got a good run in, as I said. So as long as Mark keeps focused, then, we have a chance to have a really good start to the season. And that's what we've struggled with in the last few seasons.
Definitely. Hey there, Cyber Leader. I hope you are well. Hey there, Rich. I hope you are well. I like coffee. Our women's team drew to a team called Charlie, but it's an awesome free kick from them. Whereabouts are you in the league for I like coffee? I know you're in tier 3, but I don't know who you are in the league. Henry, who do you see as a real test this season? It will definitely be Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City. And as I said last season, which both Andy and Chloe will say I have said, of course, is that if you want to be the best and you want to be in that top 3, you need to beat at least one of these teams. Yeah, we haven't beat any of them in the league last season. We drew, but we didn't pick up 3 points. Imagine if we picked up them 3 points when we drew 2-2 against Man City. Imagine if we picked up them 3 points when we drew that 1-1 against Arsenal. That could have been that difference between that top 3.
But I think we've already seen the difference this season, which is when it wasn't going right, Skinner would look to his left, look to his right, and not have many options on the bench. And now he's got options. But then he's also got that, as Chloe touched on, habit in the past to see subs as almost him admitting that his starting 11 was wrong. Whereas the way modern football's gone since the 5 substitutions, probably in the men's as well, you can really talk about that. It's now more part of the tactics, isn't it? How you use your subs rather than just to replace injuries or to sort of give a little bit of a change. It's now a proper part of the game. I mean, I'd say Arsenal is the biggest test. Actually, I'd say Chelsea's the biggest test.
Yeah, because we never won against them.
Even though Arsenal currently are a stronger squad than Chelsea, because I'm not a fan of Emma Hayes. Everybody knows this, but she does have a bit of a sort of mystical aura about her to a lot of managers. oh God, it's Emma Hayes' team. Oh, am I going to do all right against her? And I think, that anxiety from Mark Skinner will go down to the squad and has it in the past. We've never beaten her. And I think, I appreciate it's only one game, but no disrespect to Matt Beard. But if Matt Beard with Liverpool can beat Emma Hayes' Chelsea, we can also beat Emma Hayes' Chelsea, at least at home, if not away. And I would say, if we want to, we said last time out that if we want Champions League, we want to get into the group stage of Champions League. There's no point and nothing more embarrassing than going out in round 1 or round 2. So if we actually are likely to, if we're at a level, the way we can tell, if we're at a level that we're going to actually get in the Champions League group stage from getting third, obviously, from having to do the qualifying, that would be beating the top 3 at least once each season.
Exactly.
So in other words, 1 win against Arsenal, 1 win against Chelsea, 1 win against City. If we're at that level this season and we get third, then I'd feel okay. It depends on the draw. I appreciate Chloe will talk about Madrid and other stronger teams. It would still be in the third position that we could theoretically face. But I think if we beat them at least once, if we beat all 3 of them at least once, we'd be in a heck of a good position going into a qualifying next season. And I think we need to do that because it's mental with Emma Hayes and it's mental against Chelsea. And she plays on it as well because she knows people panic. And I'm sure, Chloe's got some views on that as well.
Yeah, what do you think, Chloe?
I think our real test is, it's the top 3. But it's also Liverpool as our top test. The way they played against Chelsea surprised me a lot because when I was speaking to both of you, I thought Chelsea would win it outright. I didn't think Liverpool would. I'm not going to lie, I didn't think they would. So for me to see Liverpool beat Chelsea and beat the champions was like, right, they're putting a statement on here. They are a team to watch. So I think, we like you touched on, Maisy, I think if the top 3, we have to beat at least one of them and draw and try not to lose. But I think we've got to beat Liverpool as well because they could be like 4th, 5th behind. They could be behind us instead of Tottenham, instead of Reading, instead of Brighton, them teams. So I think for us, we have to focus on the top 3, but we've also got to have like the eyes in the back of our head being like Liverpool, West Ham, Reading. We've got to have them behind us. So I think it's one of them that if we can play the way we played on against Reading on Saturday, then we can beat any team. But I think as well, Mark will know who his best players are to play, when to play and how to play. And he's probably already got like a formation ready and the players ready for the big 3. Because obviously as me and you, Maisy, we know with the men's, we call them the top 6. So,
yeah, big 6, yeah.
Big 6. So we know that the managers will have their set players of who they want to play every game against them top 6. So for me, I think Mark will know like this team's worked against Reading with their like counter attack and their formation. But I don't think me playing this player here will work for us playing against Arsenal, for example, or for Chelsea. And I think if we can beat Chelsea this season, then that's a massive improvement for us because
psychological.
We've never beat them.
Exactly. I think we have that kind of barrier in front of us where we're like, getting Chelsea in a kind of way because you could. I don't think we've seen it as much on the last day of the season because we was hungry to try and get that third. But knowing at the start of the season we didn't exactly have much to play for.
Yeah, exactly, and because we've got so much depth in the squad now, and so much to like go right. If we get an injury in midfield, we can count on the likes of Jade to cover and the likes of Leon and Lucia to cover as well. And yeah, we go back to the academy because we know how well the academy do under Charlotte Healer, and it'll be good to see if he brings any of them in as well. Because with us being at the game, we know that Safi was there, so our Welsh goalkeeper. So she's improving. She's being within the squad and learning how to be in a senior team. Because yes, she's been in that senior team last year when we were at Arsenal, because obviously Sophie Bagley was suspended at that time. But for her to be on not on the bench, but to be there to watch us how we play and be included in the squad, but obviously not be named, it was good. And then obviously Grace Clinton, one of our new signings, she was also there, but wasn't on the bench. And yeah, is she only 18?
Yeah.
18, 17.
Maybe she's over 18. She's over 8. She's not 17. Let me have a look. Right.
Wait, I think she's 19. She's 19.
19, but it's like she's getting that. She's also getting that experience because she's probably not seen. She was at Everton, so she's not had that big of an experience, that big of a crowd. So for me, I think having them options on the bench as well, and then the options of the academy players coming through, that's what's good for us. And yeah, I can't wait for Man U to be back. I think having Man U back will be brilliant because she's a leader on and off the pitch. She's a player that you always rely on, and I think we missed her at the end of last season. I really do. I think we missed her, and I think for her to come back and hopefully, I don't think she'll be straight in the squad. I think she'll be eased back into it, like coming off the bench or playing a few minutes in the Conti Cup and then coming back into the league. I think that would be brilliant to see. So for me, I think the improvement we have within the squad, the improvement we have within the depth, I think it's brilliant. And just to touch on Andy's point about Jade and how she played during the match, she played well. I think when she came on, we were already 4-0 up. I think she was there more to make sure that we didn't concede at that point because we were getting tired. We could see we were getting tired at the back, and to see and like just for to bring on a defensive midfielder at a certain point in the game, Mark must have had a thought of she needs minutes. I need to rest Hayley Ladd for West Ham, and I think now we just need to go more defensive and not concede and keep that clean sheet. So I think she's vital in them aspects, and I think for me, I don't see her starting apart from the Conti Cup games. I can see Hayley Ladd starting at league, whereas Jade, I think she'll start more in the cup matches, and then come on subs in the league. So I think we've got that kind of way that we've got a few that will play definitely in the cup matches and come on in the subs in the league, and then we've got a few that will definitely rotate through both.
I mean, there's one Conti Cup game that I must admit I'm really looking forward to watching Jade Moore playing, and that's Durham away. I mean, if you can think, we touched on Mannion, and I was there obviously last season, and I remember watching it. It literally happened, as Mannion basically get in a headlock by the Durham defender. So I think she's gonna love. I think she's gonna love playing in Durham and probably helping us get the win. Because remember that we drew last year with Durham ridiculously after penalties as well. So sorry, we drew, and then I think they beat us on penalties, I believe. But just to touch on and build on what Chloe was saying, another thing that I've noticed about the academy is we're now getting more and more deals with tier 3 clubs and deals with so people are getting dual registrations. I think I've seen at least 3 people that are now signed to either Derby or Barnsley. Derby is apparently especially on a very high level apparently for tier 3. So, I mean, one of the issues that we found last season where a lot of our players ended up going elsewhere was that even though we've got a professional academy, even though we had the academy, professional style academy, not professional as in money, even though we had a one that won it all on the academy structure, we still hit a brick wall because these players weren't playing first team football for for a sort of level with other adult women, with other adult players. So now they're going to play against the Derby, play for a Derby. I think only one's gone to Derby. I can't remember who it is, but I think 3 have gone to Burnley and or Barnsley. When I get them mistaken, one of the local B places. That will hopefully mean that maybe not many, but 1 or 2 might get a professional contract. Because if you start that process, while you're still within the academy setup rather than your final year when you're about to age out, then you have a likelihood of staying within the United fold. Because at the end of the day, part of the focus for Skinner as well, and for Charlotte Healy obviously, is that we're putting the development in for these players at academy level. Yeah, we're Man United, so we're not going to have a lot of academy players playing. But if all of them go out the door and never play for the first team, what's the point? Where's your return on investment? Otherwise, we're just a charity, aren't we? Giving out players to lower level clubs. So they've all got to find a way to feed people in, and hopefully this will be the way, using the clubs in tier 3.
Yeah, just want to say a big thank you to Ashumman for the 100 rupees. It means a lot. Thank you so much for the donation, the second donation on the channel. So we've got £5, 100 rupees. So with that one step closer for Man United, 4 billion and so much away. I'm just gonna keep making that joke. I'm just keep gonna do it. But thank you so much. Very, very kind of you, Ashumman, and lots of love to you as well. You're a great pal. Ellie's in the chat. Hey there, Ella. Does anyone know why Ella came off at the weekend? As normally she stays on for the full 90, as I was a bit confused. For me, in my opinion, I don't think it's anything injury-wise. I just think it's more because she's played a lot in terms of the Euros. She's had a bit of an extended break, and I think Matt Skinner's just probably being extra cautious of losing her, because that's the last thing we're gonna want to do is to lose Ella Toon, because she's one of our most crucial players of last season, and she was an extremely crucial player coming into this season as well. But I just think it's more for me based off she didn't want to pick up any injuries. Vilde Reason, what's going on with her as well? With the Norwegian manager, they probably wants to get her a fair few minutes too. But Chloe, what do you think about this question? What's your opinion?
I think for me, I think she seemed fatigued to me. Yeah. She seemed tired, and I think she got annoyed that she couldn't find the back of the net. I think she was just getting frustrated, and I think Mark took her off, one because, like you said, Maisy, she not to get her any more tired, and not to lose her within the season, because she's played so much for the Euro. She's had so little holiday. I think she only was it a week away.
I think it was 2 weeks she only had compared to everyone else.
A week, 2 weeks away, where she was being followed by cameras, and then she was back to pre-season, where she was PSG and Bayern Munich, and then straight into England again after pre-season, then straight back into WSL, and then it's then back to back with England again in October, league until December, and then she's probably got 2-3 week break in December, and then she's back in January. So she's got a lot of work already, especially with being one of the senior England players. So for me, I think the fatigue that she's probably got that's it. I don't think there's any injury. There was no. I didn't see her limping off. I didn't see anything like that. I just think it was down to that she's playing too much, and also we've got the players that can cover her positions like we didn't have last season. And yes, she might play 90 minutes against West Ham or other teams, but it's the first proper game back, and for me, she looked fatigued, and that she was getting too frustrated on the ball, and it because it wasn't going in. So
I don't think the passes what she made England worked compared to the game in the weekend as well.
Yeah, 100% that as well, and I think Mark in the back of the head, in the back of his thinking, she might get a yellow card. She might get a yellow card at some point because she's getting frustrated. She's getting annoyed and stuff like that. But for me, I don't think we need to worry about any injuries or anything, because I think Mark would have said in his press conference if there was any injuries, and probably would have brought up why he took Eddie off if there was anything like that. So Eddie, I don't think you need to worry about Tooney. I think she'll be doing at least 70 minutes for the game against West Ham.
What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, very similar points to what Chloe was saying there. I think, to be honest, we look really upset that she got pulled off. But I think to an extent, I don't know, I'm never going to give him too much credit here because he didn't do it with Zelen, but that's kind of keeps the fire burning. I'm not saying she needed it, but it keeps the fire burning. You know, it's keeping all players like just hungry, and you know, as Chloe said, she was getting frustrated. She never scored. She didn't get a chance to do the full 90 because she got pulled off. All right, for, as you say, to keep her, because she's looking fatigued, to keep her energy levels up. But a player always wants to play a full 90, so there might be a bit, right, okay, well, I'm definitely going to score against West Ham. It's just that mentality that, as he talks about in the past, that hungry nature of each player that you want. There was an element as well, possibly of job done at that point as well, 4-0 up. Why have, you know, arguably, well, not really arguably, why have literally our best player still on the pitch at a 4-0 win? You know, you're running a risk. You know, and as Chloe said, she's not going to get a break, really. You know, if you think about it, we took West Ham this weekend. All right, she might get the Conte off, but then she's going to have two massive games for England, one of them at Wembley. Then straight into Brighton at home, Leicester away, you know, and then we start knocking towards the end of October. And as I said, we play one of the big players in November. So it's about managing the player. And she was, you know, she was heavily used last season, went straight into a full Euros. You know, as much as, and I believe it when Alicia Russo and Tooney said that, you know, it's part of the job and it's fine. Nobody likes having a picture of them taken when they're having a pasty. You know, you've got to manage that very carefully as well. So I think it's about keeping a focus on the football and, yeah, you know, making sure that she always wants more. And, you know, it's better to feel like you could give more than feel like you haven't got anything more to give.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Ravi's asked a question which I'll go to Chloe. How does Skinner maximise on her in teams in
How'd you went to Chloe?
waves?
So
Listen, Mark.
I think he's just got, for me, Mark's got to use his best 11 to hurt the big three. He's got to use the best 11, and if that means that you've got to take someone off because they've not been performing well, or he doesn't think that they should start the game, then he has to do that, because he's got to go with the best 11. He has to, because them best 11 are the 11 that will get us started in the game, that will get us them goals. And I think if then he knows what subs he's going to use already and who he's going to bring off, and whether that changes last minute through injuries or through yellow cards, because obviously in the league we don't want players to get sent off, and that's where against the big three we potentially get most of our yellow cards, especially against City. We do. And I think for me, using our top 11 in them big games will help us massively. And yeah, they might change one or two against Arsenal, one or two against Chelsea and City. Like, it might not be the exact same 11, but at least he's rotating the squad and giving minutes to players. For me, I think Maya will bring a lot of experience, even though she's only just joined our team. I think for me, she's going to have a massive impact for us against these top three players. And with Man U hopefully back for the Arsenal and Chelsea matches, I think that for me, I think that's going to improve us a lot as well. So it's going to be one of them. It's going to be interesting to see how he does it and how he uses them. But it's also going to be interesting to see how much of an impact they do bring on the pitch for us. I think maximising in hurting teams, I don't think it's about hurting them. I think it's more about having them starting 11 getting into the heads of the teams and thinking like, oh, the 11 won't change from the previous game, but then next minute it has done, and you see that change in the lineup, which we didn't see. We know we didn't see a lot of that in that. Kind of saw most of the same 11. So for me, I think if he changes it up quite a bit, that's going to hurt that's going to hurt teams, and it's going to improve us as a team as well. So for me, I think Skinner just needs to maximise his chances in rotating the squad, even if it's just one or two changes a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Hey there, Luca. I'm well, thanks. Hope you are well. Hey there, Vincent. I hope you are well. Thank you very much as well. Means a lot. Hey there, Arsenal Alex. I hope you well. Thanks for coming in, and thank you as well for subscribing to the channel. Thank you again, Luca. Very kind of you. Good evening, Liam. I hope you well. Thanks for coming in, and thank you for the lovely message as well. Hey there, Nigel. Thank you for the nice message as well. We lose tonight. I can see us crumbling. Who we playing? Who's playing tonight, Luke Vincent? I'm not too sure who's playing. Hey there, just me. I hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. I am looking forward to the game, just as Andy and Chloe are, and Andy's actually going to watch the game live.
For my sins.
Lucky.
I know. We obviously we wish both of you were there, but as you say, for different reasons, you're unable to be there. But hopefully, we'll get the win.
Yeah, and there was something I wanted to touch on, of course, before we do wrap up. I know we've touched on a bit of Hayley Ladd, we've touched on Jade Moore, we've touched on a little bit on Leon, but one what we haven't really touched on, Lucia Garcia.
Yeah, you're gonna say that.
And I wanted to, for me, even though she didn't, I was watching it, like we all went to the game. When I seen her, she was like, give me the ball. Like, you could tell how hungry she was. She's so hot-headed, and I think in that kind of set, you need to be careful. You might get carded here. But under another breath, I loved her and Honor's connection, because I don't know if you was there, Chloe, on the stream, but I said that when Lucia Garcia plays, she needs to play on the same side as Honor. And that's where we see that connection, and Mark Skinner obviously done it, and I think it worked extremely well. I think it's just that Spanish connection to do it for country as well. But what did you make of Lucia Garcia for you, Chloe? Regular starter?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, she played extremely well, especially for her first game in the WSL. She played brilliant. Like you said, I think that connection between her and Honor works. The connection of them playing for now club and country is extremely well. And yeah, I watched it last week, albeit after you have finished live. But yeah, I agreed with your points of that Lucia and Honor needs to play on the same side, because I think that's the connection that you need to have with your wing backs, with your full backs, your wingers. You need to have that connection. And yeah, the wingers change sides because we know they do. But I think having that connection with Lucia and Honor on the right, and then Hannah and Leah I think it will be Leah on the left, then that for me it works, because obviously we had Hannah and Honor on opposite sides last year. So Honor was on the left and Hannah was on the right. So to see them now like switched, I think that works for me with Honor being on the right. So I think with the connection with Lucia, I can see it working extremely well. I can see it being a starting point for us in terms of the crossing and stuff for Lucia as well. And yeah, like you said as well, Maisy, I think she was wanting the ball. She was wanting that pass into the box or to the wing to cross it in. And she took some chances as well. And obviously she was close to a couple. So
I think there was a time where she took one too many touches.
Yeah, there was. And from that's where, because I watched the highlights back, you could see she got frustrated with that. She got frustrated that she took one too many touches, and she was like, you could see in her head thinking, if I didn't take that touch, I could have scored or I could have crossed it in and they could have scored. So I think she knows where she goes wrong. I think for me, she's that player that she can shoot from outside the box, and if it goes over the bar, she'll get frustrated with herself. If it goes in, she'll be extremely happy. But I don't think she's that player as well that she's not always going to be happy with a shot or with the cross that she's going to put into the box. I think for me, Lucia is one of them players that she's a team player, and it doesn't matter about her individually. Yes, she would love to score. She would have loved to have scored in a debut match in the WSL, like Leon would have done and Paris would have done. But she was just happy to play, and she was happy to play the full 90 minutes. And I think as well, for me, Lucia was one of them that I can see starting a lot of the games, and I can see her scoring as well. I do see her scoring, but it's that connection that she needs as well. She needs that right ball into the box, or she needs the right angle to shoot. But for me, I just hope Mark doesn't play her out of position, because her best position is on the right wing. And yeah, she can play on the left as well, but her position is the right wing. So fingers crossed Mark doesn't play her in the wrong position.
Mm-hmm. What are you thinking of Lucia Garcia's debut, Andy, for you?
Well, again, I mean, very similar points to what we were saying. I think, I love what I saw in summer. She's definitely an attacking focused winger. Some people seem to forget the sort of first part of that when they play in that position. The whole point is to open up and either score themselves or give our, strikers an easy sort of assist. Yeah, I think, obviously first game in the WSL, I think she did really well. I agree with the points that Chloe was making there. I think, but again, I think hopefully, and again, we'll know more after a couple more games, but it's all about, probably apart from Zelen, and Mary, actually, to be fair, everybody else, there's a gap, there's an empty page that, your name isn't automatically on the team sheet, and it's making that competition, healthy competition, and wanting to show people. Because of course we discussed earlier about Skinner's options being a bit more depth and that kind of thing as well. If you believe what he said about the Groningen transfer, he's also got 130. Well, what we now know about how much it is, he's also got 130,000 pounds in the bank account, ready to spend either in January or in summer. So you're also going to have players that want to make sure they're still there after January. Or players that, possibility even strengthening even more, because it's likely that City will go on the market in January to replace Kira Walsh, because they're in a similar situation in relation to not having time to replace her. And you want everyone firing on all cylinders, and, she looks great. She's an attacking player, attacking mindset. She looked like she played in the league before. She obviously has that connection with Anna, both culturally and as them being friends. English, she's still developing English. So again, it's really important that she has that comfort blanket. She's very young. She's not at home. She's obviously, needs to be happy. And as Chloe said, the only way I can see us shooting ourselves in the foot there is playing her out of position. We've got a number of wingers. I'm not so sure about the versatility on left on right. As Chloe said, I know that Garcia is preferred on the right. I'm not sure. She might know about Leon and Nikita Paris and Galton, about if they can switch. If there's any of them that can switch.
I think what we know, I think Leah can, because I think she's played on both for us. I think Paris is better on the right, and I think Leah switch as well.
Right. Yeah. Well, So okay. So you've got a little bit of flexibility there, but as you say, yeah. I mean, we just got to see how it goes. But again, it's great to see because there's a lot about the way they play, especially when you're abroad. At the end of the day, new country and all this kind of stuff. She looks comfortable and looks happy. Unhappy players, you can see it on the pitch a lot of the time, and she clearly wants to be there. And hopefully we'll continue to get the best out of her.
100%, I agree. Please, can you answer my last question? Ravi, say if United are losing a game, how does Skinner turn around and get back to win or get something? The only thing you can really say is substitutes.
Yeah, I mean, with Skinner, maybe I'll broaden it out a little bit. With Skinner, again, it's so hard to take away from one game, but I'd like to think he realises that he's going to be standing in front of a board, or at least the director of football in May, going, please, can you give me my option year? Or please, can you give me a new contract? Because at the end, this is the last year of his guaranteed contract. So I'm hoping we're going to get a more hungry Skinner, a less full of excuses Skinner. Because he's said it multiple times now, this is his team. So if his team at some point, and every team does drop off, starts underperforming, it's up to him as a manager and obviously the captain to bring it back, because it's his team built in his image, and he wants to continue to have the opportunity to build the team going forward. So I'd like to hope that if Skinner was losing the game, as we discussed, he'd use more substitutes. He'd use different substitutes. Maybe he'll do different combinations, and maybe if he manages to save the game, next week he might go, not going to do that again, and then change his overall focus on what he was doing. And sort of learn from his mistakes a little bit.
You want to touch on as well, Chloe?
Yeah, I think I agree with what you and Andy are saying. I think we've got to use our substitutions. That's probably one of the only ways of us getting a point or getting the 3 points. And it's using them right substitutions, I think, as well. But for me, I think another thing is not to let our heads go. Not to let once the heads have gone because you're 1-0 down or you're 2-1 down, our heads do go. And I think for us to bring that point back, or to bring to get us a result, the point or the 3 points, I think Mark has to have that plan B, that plan C in his head, and go, right, I've brought Hayley Ladd off, I've put Jade Moore on, I'm still 1-0, I want to win this game, I now need to bring on Leon or Martha Thomas, to them more attacking. So I think for me it's more so that he has to have that backup option. He has to have that thought of the last minute change. He's probably got in his head, he's probably got the 5 subs in his head, and then next minute 2-1 down with 10 minutes to go, and we're attacking, but we just can't find the back of the net, and the only player you've got left on bench is Martha Thomas, Leon, and you've only got 1 sub. So who do you bring on? Bring on Martha Thomas because she's the attacking player, or do you bring on Leon because she attacks, she crosses in, she's a player that can shoot with inside the box and shoot with outside the box? Mark's got to make them hard decisions, and yeah, it's one of them. As a manager, you have to have them choices. But even if he makes them choices, it doesn't always work, and it all depends on the timings as well with subs. Because for me, you could be 1-1, you can take someone off, then they score, and then that's it. Because you've took that player off, it doesn't mean that you've lost the game because you've took that player off.
You know, sometimes for me, talking about substitutes, I think sometimes using too many substitutes when you're on a draw or a loss could potentially not work. Because when you have got, say for example, you've got 11 players on the pitch and you use 3 substitutes, you've got them 3 players need to adapt to how the team have been playing. Like, they might be a bit rusty, they might not play for a few games. So, as much as I think substitutes is great, we can't use too many at once.
Yeah, that for me, that's another one. Like the way we did it against Reading, like we brought on we did 1 substitution, then we did 3, and then
I agreed with that because we was comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, as well, we can only do if we're using our 5 subs, we can only do it in a 3 gap. So you can only only have 3 slots to use your 5 subs, like it is in the men's. If you only use 1, 1, 1, you've wasted two players there. So for me, he has to use that wisely, knowing full well that you only have 3 slots to bring them 5 players on, unless it's a concussion injury where you have it right. So I think if a concussion, it's not included in one of them slots, if I'm right.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that's what he's got to do. He's got to use the subs when needed.
I mean, I might be thinking about this weekend because obviously I'm going to be down there. But like, what I think the thing is about our fan base, and it is a very difficult fan base. It's unique in women's football in the UK. I know Barca online gives us a run for the money in relation to how temperamental we can be, as does PSG in reality with the ultras. But we are a very critical and a very fiery fan base. Is the reason why we're the loudest, because that fire has to be controlled. And what I'm hoping for from Skinner this season, irrespective of the top 3 and all that kind of stuff, is I just don't want to be there again in London talking about the wind, because I don't think I'd be responsible for my actions if I'm there. Maybe because the thought is coming, about being there on Sunday. But, I'm referring to the Spurs away last season where he literally talked about it being windy and how you might not be able to tell because my hair's not that long and all this kind of stuff. So as long as I don't get that, then I'll be all right. No, I think it is a journey, as he would say. He's not stupid. If he gets United into the Champions League properly, as in gets to the group stage as well, so qualifiers and gets to the group stage, he's always going to be the first person who did that. Even if he goes somewhere else or whatever, it's going to build his career. He's still trying to build his career. The guy's just, I think he's 39 at the moment. So he's not that a million miles away from, if it was a men's game, he could have still played. He's not that old. He wants it. If you want a career in management, you think of some of the other ages of some of the older managers in there, he's got to build his career. So I'm hoping that all things will start, to end on a positive, all things will start. I know I haven't got predictions yet, but all things will start intertwining together and will hit the ground at the right time. But just to mention briefly Martha Thomas, I think she's got a lot to prove. I don't and not to be sold in January. I'm not saying that because she's done any worse. I don't think she has at all, but we've got a bit more money behind us and she's got more competition. So that's a perfect example of a player who I think needs to show why she should still be there. I agree. I think at the moment the answer is she should. I'm just saying it'd be a good example of someone who I think does need to score when she gets the opportunity to do so.
Good evening, Andrew. I hope you're well. Don't apologise. It's good to see you. Tough game. Need more this weekend than we did against Reading. I think I don't think we will score as many as we did against Reading, in my opinion, but we don't know about that. Henry, I can't see Man United losing many this season, in my opinion. Defo against Liverpool, lol. We will beat Liverpool, don't worry. Do the double. I'm kidding, I don't know yet. Hey there, Static, I hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. So we'll do our predictions and then we'll wrap up. And score prediction, I'm going 2-0 United.
Yeah, I forgot actually. Martha Thomas is ex West Ham as well. I remember that now.
She scored as well. My thumbnail is when she scored.
To be honest, I feel like doing a weather check, because if it's going to be like the way it was, I don't know what the weather's going to be like on Sunday. 2-0 United is a good shout. I think Mary will want a clean sheet. I might up it a little bit. I'll probably go 3-0.
Nice.
With one of the scorers, I know we're not going too detailed here, but one of the scorers being an ex West Ham player.
What about you, Chloe? What are you going for?
I had 2 in my head because of the way we play against them. They are one of our bogey teams, as I say. But for me, I think like Andy was saying, I think Mary wants a clean sheet, and I think our defence can do that, especially the way that we played against Reading. So I'm gonna go 4-0.
Love the positivity.
We're covered then, aren't we?
Andrew's gone 2-0 United. Henry says Stengel will breach your defence. She done very well against Liverpool. I think she was the one who scored the penalties, if I'm not mistaken. So she did play well. Ravi's gone 4-1 United. Henry not forgetting Missy Bow as well. Yeah, another Liverpool player. Yep, so we'll wrap it up here. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Chloe, for both coming on. Would you like to shout out your socials, Andy?
Yeah, and obviously before we do that, I'm sure Chloe will say the same, that obviously congratulations again on you getting monetized. I mean, you really do deserve it. I think the amount of work you put across both genres of men's and women's content, and the way you obviously let people come on, and you developed both of us really into people that actually vaguely know what we're doing when we do these things now, which is really really important, and it's quite rare to find someone so lovely on and off screen. So I hope that it'll continue. I'm sure it will continue, and really appreciate everyone who wants to watch and who gives money, or even who doesn't. Just tell people that you got a great star here who's very good at looking at the men's and the women's game.
Thank you.
And my social is at AJ_87. Go on, Chloe.
Yeah, Chloe, what's your socials? Thanks for coming on again.
Thanks for having me on again, Maisy. So obviously, I'll say it first. Congratulations on being monetized. You deserve it. The YouTube channel is growing as I don't think you expected. Both men and women teams, and I think now that you've also got that Sporting Lisbon watch along going, you've got the Portuguese side of it as well, and other people coming supporting your channel as well. So anyone in the chat that isn't subscribe to Maisy and like the videos, and go back and watch all the videos as well. But yeah, thanks for having me on again, Maisy. Gutted I can't be at the game on Sunday. I'm in work, unfortunately, but the money helps to obviously go to the matches.
Yeah.
But 100%. But my Twitter handle there is Chloe Riley 14. And yeah, again, Maisy, congratulations.
Thank you both very much. And as people know as well, Andy and Chloe, who's regulars on the panel, as well as that, they're very good friends of mine outside of YouTube. Talk on a day-to-day basis at the football together, and this is what brought us to become good friends with each other. I never met both Andy and Chloe before I started doing podcasts, and they never met me, and we've just became great friends since. And this is what we love to do, talk about the game. And I appreciate both Andy and Chloe always taking the time. Everybody who's watching the channel as well, really, really appreciate it, and the support I appreciate. Thank you so much as well, Henry, for the super chat. Ashunman as well for the super chat. It means a lot. And Ashunman as well. His channel is the United Road, so you can go and check out his channel. Andy and Chloe, check out their Twitters. They very, very great people. And Andrew with the third super chat, thank you so much for the lovely, generous donation. It means a lot. When's the membership coming out? I'm gonna definitely look at getting a membership very, very soon. It's a very kind donation. I'll make the third joke again already. I'm £10 closer to buying Manchester United, 3 billion and whatever pounds away. So thank you so much, Andrew, for the lovely, generous donation. It's so kind of you, and thank you for always supporting the channel. You, as well as Andy and Chloe, has been there from the beginning, and you're a great moderator on the channel as well. So Ravi as well, another great moderator. So thank you all very, very much. Everyone smash that like and subscribe button. I'll be live tomorrow. Luke will be with me. We'll be doing our preview for Italy versus England, and say hello to Chloe's cat as well. Very cute cat indeed. Making the debut on the channel. Yeah. So you'll be able to see me and Luca tomorrow for that, and I know we touched about Man United on the weekend. I'll be doing a watch along for that. So it'll be great. It will be great. But thank you all so much, and enjoy your evening. Take care. Bye bye.